Already. Okay, sir. Good morning, children. Children, as per the paper 2 syllabus of our 9th class, the first chapter is changing cultural traditions in Europe between 1300 and 1800 AD. Already we had discussed. And now we are discussing about, so that we discussed in the online classes. And this is the next continuation to that lesson, that is the 13th lesson in our syllabus. That is, how was the democratic and nationalistic revolutions happened in Europe between 17th and 18th centuries, 17th and 18th centuries. So what do you mean first, before going to that, what do you mean by democracy? So democracy means it's a form of government, one kind of the government, where that means the ultimate power, the complete power, the supreme power rests in the hands of the people. The total power rests in the hands of the people. Like everything, preparation of the laws, implementation of laws, everything will be done by the representatives selected by the people from themselves. From themselves. So that means, whomever MLAs or MPs we elected, those will some of them will become as ministers, prime minister, chief minister. These all, so these are nothing like that. The people, these are also the people. They went from the group of the people. That means some group of people elected one person among them as a leader, as a representative. That means from our side, he should discuss about our problem and then he should draw the funds to solve our problems from the government. Whether they allowed it or not, that means this is a kind of the form of the government, or the kind of government that is called democratic government. You may have doubts, sir, already we are in democratic governments only. Then what do you mean by the other form of the government means? See, these democratic governments started from 19th century onwards only. Up to the 19th centuries, in every country, mostly the governments ruled by the single monarch person, that is called monarchy. So that means the different form of the government, when the power was controlled by a single person, that is comes under monarch. Monarchy. So this monarchy here is a type of government where the single person holds the entire power. Single person holds or enjoys entire power. But this is quite different. Here only one person decide everything. But whereas in democracy, all the people, all the persons, all the people of a particular place decides. It's a form of government. So other form of government, so that means here the total power belongs to people. Everything belongs to people. People means people will select some people as their leaders. That what we call them as official language representatives. That means from our side, from the people side, these elected representatives, representatives will participate in the form of the government. That is called democracy. So today we are discussing about, so in that way, in what the democratic and nationalistic revolutions to form the democratic government against the monarchist government, what type of revolutions were conducted, in what manner, those are in European continent and other countries of the world. So between 17th and 17th and 18th centuries. So that is our today's topic. That is 13th lesson of our topic, democratic nationalist revolutions. How the democratic nationalistic revolutions started in 17th and 18th centuries. This is our today's topic, children. See, in this topic, we are going to discuss about different revolutions had taken up by the different people of the different countries. So So, just for a better understanding, we will write what are the topics we discuss here. See, we discuss first the glorious revelation. The glorious revolution or bloodless revolution happened in England. The glorious and bloodless revolution happened in our England. How this was happened? See, in the 12th lesson we discussed that until the 13th century, so there was no peculiar kingdoms or empires, or there was no large kings or the emperors. So in any part of the countries in the world. So that especially, of course, in European continent, there was no peculiar, so strong empires. That means the powers was under the control of the feudal lords. Feudalism was under practice. This was continued up to 14th centuries. But from 14th centuries onwards, the systems were completely changed. That means new kingships. That means single-centered power. That means power completely holded by a single person in a hereditary manner. Means king after his son. Otherwise, his grandson. He has no that means hereditary sons. He may have sons from his daughter. Like that. So that means sons or the grandsons were the hereditary ones are the heirs. We call them as heirs. So that means the power was under the control of under some hereditary heirs. అంటే వంశపారంపర్యంగా వచ్చేటటువంటి వారసులు అంటాం. వంశపారంపర్యం అంటాం ఇన్ అవర్ లోకల్ లాంగ్వేజ్. So these heirs hold the power. Okay. So in this manner, that means England. Now we are discussing about England country in what the revolution happened. No? So that in England, that means different dynasties like Tudor, Stuart dynasty and Stuart dynasty. So these are the two different types of dynasties strongly ruled England in the 17th and 18th centuries, children. So especially that means in those days, so of course the king have ultimate power, but even the kings are the complete power of the king also sometimes commented or objected by one category people. Who are those? Can you guess? Christians. It means Christian heads. That means the Roman Catholic Church authorities have the similar power along with the king. The Roman Catholic Church authorities have the similar power along with the kings. They started to interfere into the politics of the England country, not only England, in all countries of the Europe. Why? Because how that the people are giving more priority to the kings in the same way, they have to give priority to the church authorities also. And especially the church authorities are also started to dominate the powers of the king in those days. So this was continued until 1603. Whenever that Stuart dynasty king James I from Stuart dynasty, James I came into existence in the year 1603. Soon after getting into the power, he was that means ordered by his grandmother Elizabeth, Queen Elizabeth. Queen Elizabeth was the grandmother of James I. That means don't get any quarrels with Parliament. Why? Because in our country, Parliament have ultimate powers. It can be object the king and his supremacy also. So that don't get any disputes with the Parliament. In that way, he was suggested by his grandmother. But even though after getting into the power, so he immediately, that means, started to make disputes. James I disputed disputed with the parliament. He started the question. Disputed with the parliament. Disputed with the parliament. Why? Because that means he strongly believed one thing. That is, what is that? So James Bond strongly believed that divine of right. Divine of right. That means God only created us as in the king's family. Why won't we born in the peasant's family or carpenter family or cobbler family? Why I born in the king's family? So it's my fate decided by the God in the heaven. So I born as the prince on the earth. So that who are this parliament and who are these church authorities to question me? So that I am not bounded by anyone. I am the supreme for myself. So that I don't want to hear anybody. So this is the attitude of the James 1 children. Okay, later, so without parliament he ruled. He tried to restrict or reject orders or the suggestions of the parliament in all times. So children, so later he was succeeded by Charles I. That means when he was died, his grandson Charles I came into power. Okay, so Charles I also, his brother James I brother Charles. In those days, kings have more wives, and young ones as their children, and old ones also as their children. So that when the James I elder brother became weak, so Charles I came into power by defeating him. Okay, so when Charles I came into one, he was somewhat prior to his brother. He was not followed. Sometimes he followed the parliament. But Charles I, so simply, I don't want to allow the parliament. Okay, first of all, in the 1619 he was came into existence. In 1619 he came into existence. This Charles I came into existence in 1619. But up to 1640 he ruled without the support of the parliament. He was not convened, arranged the parliament. Without parliament he ruled. But in the 1640 he required some funds to went on war. See, in those days, children, European countries, that means whenever a king want to go for a war, he required more funds. That funds should be released by the parliament only. But so from 19 to 1640 he didn't allow the parliament. So that now he required the parliament, so that he convened the parliament. So this parliament continued up to 1660, that means 20 years. 20 years this parliament was continued. So that this parliament is known as long parliament, because a long period this was continued. So that this is known as a long parliament. So at this time, so between this period, this parliament became strong. It started to, so that means question the king and his ministers. It started to observe the lifestyle, in what way that the king and his ministers spending the money from the treasury, king's treasury. In what way they are utilizing the funds. These are all observed. These are observed by the parliament. So the parliament always try to operate the activities of the king and his ministers. So that in the parliament, especially the parliament, so what is arranged in England, so mostly the representatives are selected by the traders and great philosophers or the educated people in the society. So whenever the king, the parliament started to object to release more funds for the desire of the king, so that means the disputes came. So that means at this time, that means the in England country, so the parliament, there were two groups formed. That is the parliamentary party and king's party. That means kings and his followers became a group. That means kings and his ministers. Okay, children. And parliamentary representatives became another group. These two groups, so that means completely deviated with the issues, deviated with the implementations of the activities, government activities. So that finally this group so broke out a civil war. Between these two groups, a civil war was broke out in 1660. In 1660, a civil war was broke out. Especially in the year 1600, this was continued, disputes continued. Finally, so in the year 1688, that means Charleston was handed over and a republican government was established. Charleston was executed so by the parliament. So because he and his activities completely proved that they followed the mob practices to rule the country. So that Charleston was executed. Charleston was executed means he was handed over. And so immediately a republican government was established. But this republican government, England became the republic. England became a republic. But this republican government was not lasted for a long time. So because of some selfish activities or the misunderstandings between the republicans in England, again this government was collapsed. So within a short period, in 1 year, so collapsed. So again that in the 1688, Parliament. Okay, children, in the 1688, again the republican government was collapsed and a new person. So who is the Austrian Princess Catherine and her husband, that means William of Orange. These two are invited. Why? Because these are the Charles I's granddaughter Catherine and her husband William of Orange invited as to occupy the throne of the England. To occupy the throne of England. Who invited? People from the people all. So that means the desire. That means they want their own king's government, because the republican government not fulfilled in a fruitful manner and worked in a fruitful manner. So that England was occupied by the Austrian Princess Catherine and William of Orange. So without shed of one shot of blood, one drop of blood, this revolution was completed. So that this revolution was known as the Glorious Revolution or the Bloodless Revolution. The Glorious Revolution or the Bloodless Revolution. And now we are discussing about another important revolution happened in American continent. That is American War of Independence. American War of Independence. American War of Independence, which was happened between 1774 to up to 1783. What do you mean by America? See, already so we know that, so that North American continent we know. Okay, children, this is a North American continent which is comes under Mexico. But what we are telling, so this is Canada. The north portion of the North America is known as Canada, and the south portion is known as Mexico. So middle portion, up to some other kind of small countries also there. The middle portion will be treated as USA. That means United States of America. United States of America. But this United States of America, this land, whatever land that we are now discussing, calling as United States of America, this land once upon a time is a colonial government. So that means 13 colonies. 13 colonies were established in 16th century by England. So England established 13 colonies in USA, whatever land of USA we are calling. So this is was 13 colonies. 13 colonies of the Britannics. But these 13 colonies never have the participation in Britain elections. That means, of course, motherland Britain ruling this. That water sources are there, they are taking, and here factories and industries, everything was established. Cultivational lands also there, everything is there. But England just taking the wealth from this part of the continent. But it was not giving participation to the people, even who are the origin of the Britain, settled here. But these people are treated as outsiders. These people treated as outsiders by the Britain or England both the same. Okay. So England not given the participation. No participation in Britain elections. As a contestant or a voter. As voter or contestant. Contestant means who are contesting in elections, who are participating in elections as MLA or MP like that. That means the people who are living in American continent, even they are the British people, who are not allowed. Only the people of the Britain who are living in England only, so have the participation. So as a voter or election, that voter rights also not given. Okay, once again we forward one thing that, so in England, of course, again the government was established by the William of Warren, but complete independence, democratic rights were not preserved. Until 1928, there was no voting right. No right to vote until 1928. So this, remember once again here. So that the Americans, these were treated as Americans. So Americans means these are the people of the British only. But they settled people of British or